Hello and welcome to your Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 23rd of May 2015. The moon today in the sign of Leo after, within the last couple of days, having made a conjunction with Venus. And now the moon is inching closer to a conjunction with Jupiter. Both the moon and Jupiter are in the nakshatra or lunar mansion of Ashlesha. Before we go into the energy of the day, let's talk a little bit about Ashlesha, because that's really going to set us up for an understanding of what this is all about. And before we do that even, let's talk a little bit about the moon and the moon's journey through the lunar mansions and what that is all about. What the nakshatras are responsible for is the growing of consciousness. Okay, now the moon is, its responsibility astronomically, from our perspective here on Earth, is reflecting the light of the sun. That's one of the things that the moon does. It reflects the light of the sun. In astrology, the sun is considered connected to the soul, the individual soul. So the moon basically reflects the light of the individual soul. So the moon is about the concept of consciousness. It's also about reflection, and generally it's related to how we react to things. So the moon also has a very huge responsibility in growing our consciousness, and it does so through the agency of these particular lunar mansions. So these conversations that I'm having with you every day give you a little hint of how the universe is asking you to grow your consciousness for that particular day. And that's going to affect you in a different area of your life dependent upon where you have these planets placed. So let's talk about Ashlesha for a little bit. Ashlesha is symbolized by the serpent gods. And everything that Ashlesha is connected with is related to the concept of a serpent. So in symbolism, in spiritual symbolism, quite often the serpents are used to symbolize wisdom. Additionally, they're sometimes symbolized to show potential. But as we know, a snake can be one of two ways, right? It can, either be still and lying there still, and it can be related to those concepts of wisdom and also potential. But a snake can also strike, and it can strike out, and it can act in a manner that is venomous. Now, snakes actually, they inject the venom through, I think, something from their sacs and something involving their teeth, but they don't always inject venom when they bite. And that's one thing to understand. So there is always that particular angle where a snake may bite, but may or may not inject venom. I'm mentioning this because of the concept that knowledge brings power, and knowledge also brings responsibility. And those are important things to recognize and realize. So there's a sloughing of the skin, a getting rid of a skin, shedding layers of the past that's usually involved with Ashlesha. And there's wisdom that is gained from the process that came before, and one gets rid of the old. And when snakes shed their skin, they emerge much more shiny and luminescent. So there's the concept of greater potential after that shedding has occurred. And the last several days has definitely brought a process of shedding in all of our lives, right? And now there's the concept of potential that is available, especially if one uses the wisdom that has been gained over the last several days. Ashlesha is ruled by Mercury, and it's a Dharma nakshatra. That means it always has as its basis of acting and moving the concept of principle, or what seems to be right. So there's the concept of holding to a principle with Ashlesha energy. Okay. Also, in connection with that, we need to look at Mercury, because Mercury is the ruler of Ashlesha. And Mercury is actually in Rohini, which is about the process of growth, evolution, and fostering that sense of growth and evolution. That's the responsibility of Rohini. And Rohini is ruled by the moon. So there's a very strong interchange of energy going on. And Mercury is retrograde at the moment. And when a planet's retrograde, it becomes very bright in the sky. So Mercury is very powerful at the moment and able to give a lot of insight to that process of reflecting over past events and recognizing where one has come from, what has been done, and the ethics that have evolved within you in relation to that. And now you're being prompted to act with that sense of ethics. Taking a look at the lunar tithi, the lunar day for today, that's Shukla Shashti. It's the 6th day of the bright half of the moon. Now, each of these tithis and also the solar lunar yogas are associated with a specific planet. And when that planet isn't disposed well, then it can make that energy a little uneasy, right? So basically, due to Shashti being ruled by Venus, there's the tendency to not really feel quite so happy about the experience that's going on. And energetically, even though there's the wisdom and potential that's being made aware to you, there's the tendency to not feel quite so vibrant or quite so happy because the situation is evolving. The solar lunar yoga today is Dhruva, which means immovable. And Dhruva is also being ruled by the south node of the moon, which is called Ketu in Vedic astrology. And due to the particular energy of the day, Ketu is not exceptionally well disposed either. So ordinarily, where you might decide to hold to a specific principle in terms of the Ashlesha energy that's there, you'll actually be better served by being a little bit flexible today. There's still a process of adjustment that's going on. There's a shedding of the skin, true. New energy is arising and will do over the course of the next few days, but the skin of the past is not completely shed yet. You're just beginning to see the potential and have the understanding and wisdom of how to expand from this moment onwards. Now, this is just a brief look at the general energy of the day in relation to the moon, albeit a very powerful look at the lunar energy, because the nakshatras are a very powerful tool for evolution. If you want to know how this is impacting your life personally, well, then I'd have to look at your particular birth chart. And I do offer that service. There's a vast range of astrological services which are available at the bottom left-hand corner of this YouTube video. If you've closed down that link already, then there's a link further down the page in the description area. And please do consider subscribing to my YouTube page if you have not already done so. That way you can receive a regular update every time a new video is released. That's going to do it for your Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 23rd of May, 2015. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye for now.